Navi have definitely impressed during the group stage. They made it here off of a 3-0 in the qualifiers, but people still have doubts. Every single time people have doubts. I think it is time to get rid of these doubts. Them taking the stage here is proof that they are indeed back, and I am never going to mention that again because that is just the case. They are here. They're going to play on the main stage of the International. They have taken games of the best of them in the group stage, and they're here to play Mineski. A squad that has undergone a lot of changes, even as far as a couple of months ago, 2 months ago. It was Nico Baby that joined the roster. Ninja Buki also only added this March, together with Raging Potato or Bimbo, however you want to call him, and they are here to deliver. They have been saving strats, according to themselves, and they have fun playing again, and that is so very important, as we have seen last year, last TI, OG friendship, taking it all the way. Can this friendship in Mineski do the same? Can they make a lower bracket run? We are going to find out, or at least we're going to find out the first step of their journey here in Shanghai at the International 2019. It is one game only, one best of one. Now, first, before we go any further about this matchup, we're gonna see Casey talk with Navi.
So Nako and Crystallize with Navi. Welcome to TI9.
Hello.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes? How would you rate the way the last few months have gone for both of you as players?
Это были тяжелые вот эти пару месяцев. Мы были все время близки пройти на какой-то лан, но все время какие-то именно то ли психологический момент, то ли где-то просто не везло. И в итоге мы не могли отобраться на турнир.
How do you think your leadership style has changed over the years?
Вот за последние пару лет я каждый год чувствовал, что я все больше и больше меняюсь в плане лидерских качеств, в плане игровом, в игровых каких-то моментах. И все это заслуга моих тиммейтов, которыми я играл. И особенно именно с текущими ребятами, которыми мне именно весело проводить время и общаться, и получать опыт, и получать именно обратную связь от них.
Crystallize, I will ask you a question too. How have you grown as a player?
Именно за этот год, как по мне, я импровнулся больше всего, потому что это был второй год мой уже, который я не новичок, который я видел уже как самому развиваться, какими путями мне нужно идти, чтобы стать лучше. И благодаря моим тиммейтам я импровился, как по мне, очень много.
It sounds like you both have a lot of respect and a lot of camaraderie on your team. Do you think that that is a huge factor in being successful at this level?
Ну, это один из главных также факторов, потому что когда я впервые пришел в команду, у меня было большое уважение к моим тиммейтам. И, можно сказать, я был не на равных для себя. Я думал, что они намного лучше. Но в этом году, когда пришли новые ребята, я с ними был уже на равных и мог выражать свое мнение наравне.
Even though it's a different roster than TI1, obviously, do you feel a sense of pride playing for Navi, since it's so synonymous with TI at this point?
Такой гордости по типу того, что играет за Тек, который именно стал чемпионом, у меня нету. У меня есть именно любовь к этой организации. Они профессионалы своей деятельности. Они именно могут... Они знают свое дело, и за счет этого я горжусь находиться в этой организации. То, что они были чемпионами, это все... Я не задумывался, и такого давления какого-то, либо же ответственности у меня нету.
What would it mean to both of you to be able to win the Aegis?
Ну, как по мне, это уже вот новое достижение будет, которое именно даст мне понять, что я вот в этом году именно смог правильно именно собрать команду, правильно ее типа именно построить, развить, и то, что я двигаюсь в правильном направлении.
Ну, лично для меня это покажет результат, насколько я выкладывался, насколько это были правильные решения, и как таковое достижение покажет всю правильность моих действий за год.
Да.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
The torture is over.
And here, the torture has only just begun. They are going to play on the stage in a best of one. Torture or enjoyment, excitement. It's, you know, whatever you really think helps you thrive in a game of Dota 2, Brian. I mean, surely everybody is different in terms of what makes them tick, right?
Yeah, this game, I think these two teams are the most wild card-esque teams. The highest they can play and the worst they can play is quite high variance, I think, for both these teams. And when it came down to predicting the best ones, this one was the hardest one for me because, like I said, I feel like we could either see the best of both teams, the worst of both teams, best of one team, worst of one team. I really don't know going into this game.
I know for a fact Mineski's got something special planned.
Ooh.
I don't know whether they're going to go for it or not. It'll be interesting to see, but they've definitely at least considered a hero they've yet to select in this tournament. Like Brian said, like if it was a BO, it's the one BO1 I wish was a BO3 because Navi, you know, they 2-0'd VP and then they find themselves in the lower bracket as VP moves to the upper. Mineski, they had a shot. They just had to take, I believe, one game off of Newbie. They would have at least forced a tiebreaker. They could not.
So
I
close.
can't call it.
So close, Owen. Now we started this season off with Navi doing really well. They came second at the Dream League Minor even.
They did. You know, this roster, I think, which is definitely important for people to note that may have, you know, maybe just watching the TIs or not able to sort of follow every single event in the season. You know, this roster of Navi, they're back sort of really on their way back to the top. This is definitely a lineup that you have to respect and look at all five of these players. They're some of the best in each of their individual roles, in my opinion, and they've really got it all working. They've got it come together. They've stuck together. They've persisted. And I feel that this could be the time where we really see Navi blossom and make the run. I've had them as my bracket prediction to win this series, and I really feel that there's every reason to get behind these players once again on Navi.
Yeah, you're saying Navi is stuck together this entire season. It feels like Mineski is the complete opposite, just shuffling about almost the entire season with the latest edition just a couple months ago.
Yeah, and they also were about this close from not making it to the tournament at all. There was a unfortunate thrown go for by actually our friend Gunnar, who's currently working the panel in that Game 4 of the SEA qualifier finals. Like, that's what's so nuts about Dota, right? Because this 30-second decision in a qualifier match kind of reflects now upon this tournament, and now we see another BO1 where it's a game of inches and seconds. Like, you really don't know what's going to happen.
All right, Brian, most important thing about this matchup for you?
I'd say it's the mid lane. I think Magical is one of the highest skilled mid laners I've seen in a long time. I like watching him on his signature heroes like TA, and he seems like a heavily momentum-based player.
All right, let's find out what's going to happen in the game.
Mineski versus Navi. Game 1.
It's time now for game number 1, and I say game number 1, it's just one game. Best of 1 elimination. It's brutal. One of these teams going home. Mineski versus Navi. Gunnar, Fabi, how are we doing? What do we think about this one?
Feeling good. I got the chance to cast a lot of Navi games with Fabi.
Yep.
They had some strats they like to run a lot more than others. They picked a lot of Razor. Other teams didn't pick Razor. They picked a lot of AA, Axe, and Earth Spirit. I think their Earth Spirit player is phenomenal. I think that's kind of one of the heroes to look out for, and that player in particular.
Yeah, he's got a crazy win rate on their hero. He's got 72% win rate, and they picked him 7 times in the group stage. It was their most picked hero, so they definitely trust him with that hero.
Well, some of these other heroes that you have to look out for being banned out here as we help ourselves into the draft. Is there a clear favorite coming in, Febby? We were talking about this a bit before coming on. Is this even? Is there one of the teams that has an edge?
I think Mineski on their highs played the better quality of Dota. So
okay,
yeah, but I don't know. It's pretty close. It's BO1. Like it comes down to nerves a lot. Like these BO1s, like whoever plays without pressure the most. And I don't know. I think these teams are pretty neck to neck. Like they're pretty even. Mineski did play a higher quality of Dota from what I've seen, but it's all about nerves and pressure.
So Navi or Mineski banned 2 of Navi's kind of heroes like we talked about. They banned Tree,
yep,
and they banned Razor in the first phase. So Navi's gonna have to kind of change up their draft a little. The AA is still in the pool. I think their AA, they played around it really well. His laning was a little weaker on that hero. He would go, 0-2, 0-3 in the early game, but he hit level 6 at a decent time with the 10-minute tome, and he just crushed the whole game. His AAs were on point, so I think that kind of hero is what we're looking for.
Yeah, if the Wraith King is not banned, I think Mineski wants to pick that hero up. That hero has been working wonders for Mineski. It can push out lanes pretty well. They got a pretty high win rate on that hero.
Here we go.
Comfortable with it.
Earth Spirit, though. You mentioned the win rate. Best of 1. You stick with your comfort hero. 72% win rate it was. And Zayat's, he kind of is the player to watch with Navi.
Yeah, he controls the whole early game and the whole mid game. And even the late game.
Yeah, so he's the stand-up player.
We watched it. He played with an Alchemist. He just covered him the whole game. He even got an Ags at one point from the Alch. And he saved his Alch 3 times with the Ags.
I'm kind of worried about it because usually they pick him with some damage, and right now, with AA of course, and right now it's Warlock or Spirit. Sure, the team fight's going to be insane, but the kind of pickoffs at the silence that Zayak usually makes, it's not going to happen. They're going to mainly go for team fights this one.
The other small concern already is the Shadow Demon, and Mineski in the form of Shadow Demon has a save. So if he kind of rolls on this core, he tries to silence, burst it. If they get disrupted, maybe it's a BKB off, maybe they turn the fight, so that could be a little scary.
What is it about the Warlock that we're suddenly seeing this? Because you guys were talking about the AA pick, which has normally been Navi's first 2 pick for their support. Why do you think Warlock comes out?
I think in these, especially lower brackets and BO1s and the big stages too, Dota kind of changes. It's all about team fight because you're playing under such pressure, there tends to be mistakes. So if you're on a lineup that kind of falls out or that's on a timer, then you are even on more pressure, Yeah, so I think that's why they aim for the Warlock. They just want better team fight.
And we're kind of maybe expecting this to go later game, see lots of those late game Roshan fights where someone like Warlock can offer a lot, I imagine.
It also helps their laning. If they want to pick kind of a weaker carry, he has, Shadow Word, he can kind of sustain the lane a little better. Something like Ogre even, since he has Ignite and he has Fireball, so he's going to do a lot of damage to the carry if it's a 3. The Warlock's going to kind of offset the imbalance in that lane.
Yeah, so Ogre has been picked for Mineski. Most of the times it has been played by KP on position 3, but sometimes they do put it on Raging Potato, position 4. I think it should be a position 3 this game though, because if those 2 are supports, they're just 2 single targets. So I think we're gonna see some teamfight hero from Raging Potato, maybe an Invoker.
The interesting ban from Navi is the Lifestealer. I thought that they could have kind of thought about the Lifestealer for themselves. It is a little concerning with the Shadow Demon's ult, but they have a good vehicle in the Earth Spirit, and I think it lanes well against the Ogre, so it's kind of surprising that they're banning their own Lifestealer.
Guess they must have something else in mind, at least as far as the carry goes, if they're going to be banning it out. As we will see also the Void and Dazzle removed from Mineski as we get ourselves into the next pick stage. I feel like this man here on your screen, Nico Baby, as a carry, giving him a good start, giving him a good lane has been really key for Mineski, because he to me is very similar to Hector from Infamous, where it's like he wants to farm, hit whether it's a Midas Radiance hero or something else, his item timings are really important.
He's really good at those, but he's also really good at the Jug type of hero. In the qualifiers, he played a lot of Jug. He would kind of sit in the lane, farm. Once he gets his items, he would rotate a lot with his team. And they would play really fast around him. They would get a bunch of towers. They would take a lot of team fights. So he kind of plays multiple styles with the team, and his team as well will focus on him or Moon. So they're a little versatile. Some teams will prefer to go for their carry or for their mid, but this is one of the teams I think that can kind of flex their priority hero.
Yeah, with Navi's Beastmaster pickup, the team fight even looks more stronger. They have 2 BKB peers, so much AoE. And there it is, the Wraith King from Mineski. It's one of Nico's favorite carry heroes.
Something Navi must have expected, because it is one of Mineski's most picked heroes so far. I think they had like a pretty high 75-80% win rate on it over like 5 games maybe. And Navi instantly picks Sven.
Yeah, I think they did their homeworks. Maybe they were kind of baiting the pick. But Sven shreds Wraith King.
Yep.
Wraith King low armor. The cleave can deal with skeletons in the early game if they ever pressure the Sven's tower. Gives your team armor, so the Wraith King can't really burst you. It works well with the Beastmaster as well. One of the things Sven lacks, he has high damage but low attack speed.
Okay.
So the Beastmaster is going to kind of buff him up in the early game.
So what Mineski team, what Mineski needs right now, it's on wave push / team fight.
From the mid, what about a Death Prophet here from Mineski?
Yeah, it's a very high chance, high likely pick.
They even have the save for the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, but I'm kind of worried about their wave push because Ogre as position 3 doesn't push out waves that well, and so does DP.
He can buy a Midas. Get a triple quad multicast. Waves gone.
Oh, Enigma. That's a KP
team fight hero
for sure. That's a KP Enigma.
You think BO1 KP's playing out the Enigma?
Yeah, like I said before, he wants, like in these BO1s, you want to go out with your best hero if you're going out. So I think rather than being the correct pick, they're looking at like their most confident hero. But I'm not so sure if this was the pick because there's a lot of Enigma counters.
Yeah, they have 2 heroes that deal with Black Hole, BKB Black Hole.
Warlock, Beastmaster War. There's a lot of stuff. And like, I don't know.
But the way we may see it played is going to be more momentum-based, where you get the fast either Helm, Mech, Greaves, get those team-fight items and push with your team.
Yeah.
Play around your catapults.
So how to play against the Warlock with Enigma is you just go team-fight items. You don't go you don't itemize to use Black Hole ever because this Warlock's just going to AFK in the backlines. Then you want to be somewhat useful in the front line by providing team-fight items.
Yep.
I could see Mineski doing an aggro tri-lane against the Sven. You put the Enigma versus the Beastmaster, and you can convert his boar off cooldown. Kind of gives this really nice lane for you. If you have a sentry, kill a hawk. And then the Sven, I think, will suffer. The Warlock, once he's sustained lanes where you just Shadow Word your carry, the lane gets slowed down, you both heal up, you free tangos up, basically. But in an aggro tri-lane, you're going to 100-0 someone with those heroes. Fire Blast, Wraith King Stun, Disruption.
Yep.
I think it's a little scary for Navi right now.
I played with Mushi time to time, and he prioritizes wave pushing a lot. So I'll be kind of surprised if we're not seeing like Lina, TA, like these kind of wave pushers.
One hero Moon plays, Tinker. Is there any chance we see a Tinker? That's the the king of wave push. It's hard against Beastmaster Hulk. That's already got vision for you, but
yeah, Navi does have a lot of good ways to catch the Tinker, but yeah, we can definitely. Lina.
Okay. It's a little more stable. It can lane against most mids in the meta. Deals with Sven. You can kite him before BKB. Even after BKB, Lina is very fast.
Is TA banned?
No.
And that's a magical hero.
A magical hero, yeah.
It matches well up against most of the heroes, but Enigma's a little scary for it. I think it's a safer pick though.
Yeah, Warlock's got the Enigma covered, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He just has to, win the Lina's lane and be a boss. I think it's pretty good against SD Ogre too, like those 2 squishy. Well, Ogre's not that squishy, but I think it's kind of linear on tankiness, so it's gonna hit a limit, especially on position 4, if it is being played as a position 4.
As much as it feels like maybe they should ban TA, you see they ban Brood, and you're like, well, yeah, you don't want to get 10-pick Brood in a BO1 elimination match, so it makes sense, you pick the lesser of the 2 evils maybe, assuming they even pick TA.
Well, Mag seems like very confident right now, the Navi's coach, so.
Oh, this is another Navi special, Sniper.
It is pretty good against Lina too. I mean, Gunnar, you can talk about it, you're the mid player.
The Lina Sniper matchup is kind of even the mid game, or the mid lane. Once it gets to the mid game, the Sniper outranges the Lina, which is one of the few heroes in the game that can actually outrange a Lina. So you have this kind of out exterior fighter range where she'll try to stun range you, but her Laguna and her Aether Lens, these kind of things, they're not even far enough to hit the Sniper with Dragon Lance and max attack range or take aim.
From what it feels like, Navi seems to have the better draft. How Mineski has to play this is with better vision, I think. They have to fight not with the Hawk and just fight under their ward. So Enigma can find the Warlock, and they just basically have to watch where the Warlock is.
The vision game is so important. That's something where this Beastmaster Hulk needs to be dealt with and controlled.
Yes.
You can't just let him have full vision of the entire map. Otherwise, Navi will pick and choose their fights and take control of the map very easily.
Yeah. I think it's kind of easier for them as they have a Wraith King. The Wraith King can run in and start a fight. And when they maybe clump around his ult, when he reincarnates, they get a 2-3-man black hole. Even if it gets interrupted, it kind of buys the whole team enough time to get in. They get the BKB popped on the Wraith King maybe. They get this Radiance burn. They're doing a little damage, you know.
Yeah, it's gonna be a battle of like drawing each other's positions out. The Lina Sniper and Enigma Warlock, these key heroes, they wanna like bait each other out.
Okay. Have your thoughts? I mean, you said you maybe ever so slightly favor Mineski. Does the draft maybe lean you a bit back towards Navi now?
Yeah, I think I'm slightly towards on Navi's side. I kind of don't agree on the Enigma pick. He's gonna have a hard time in the game. They have to find the Warlock first before engaging. And I think it's going to be pretty hard because Sniper is going to be pushing out everything with the superior range advantage.
Even with Shrapnel and side lanes and mid, you can just Shrapnel the lane out. You don't even have to show your hero. I think it also, their team fight's really strong with the Fatal Bonds and then the Magnetize and even the Sven.
Yeah.
A Cleave with the Fatal Bonds and 2, 3 heroes, 4 heroes, 5, you know, everyone's dead.
Yeah, but Mineski do have their comfort pick, so it's going to be a pretty exciting game.
I mean, comfort pick's the name of the game in these BO1s sometimes. Very clear.
Yeah.
Navi recognize that. They go for it a lot. They also added that extra amount of team fight with the Warlock. So really, big team fights is going to be the name of the game. That's what we should be looking out for.
Yeah, definitely.
I think the game will be exciting around 20, 30 minutes. This Enigma BKB, they're going to try to bait out spells. And it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, we don't see any chance there'll be a big explosion in the early game. We're going to go over to Casey on the stage. He's got Mag with him.
That's right. We're just going to ask you a really quick question, Meg. How do you feel about your draft?
I feel very confident. We picked our signature heroes and we feel quite confident. That's all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Best of luck. Back to you guys.
That's right, it's time for our final match of the night. We're going late into the night, and there's still a decent amount of audience here, and they've been cheering very loudly for both these teams, Mineski versus Navi. Let's head into the game as we are going to be seeing the bounties unfold quite soon. And as we heard from Meg, I mean, I feel like both teams definitely just picked their signature heroes. I mean, they picked Enigma into Warlock and Earth Spirit and Beastmaster. But at the end of the day, it's still a KP classic.
Yeah. What do you really expect him to say in that position, though? Like, oh, man, we got completely outdrafted. I should probably not do my job. We lost in 12 minutes.
I did a bad job. I'll be honest with you. I didn't even look at what Mineski's been picking. Hey, there's an interesting man on the screen right there. Nico Baby just completely bypassed attending DPC events and went straight to TI.
That's the Ana.
Yep.
You just kind of show up, slow roll your way to TI.
Rebounding runes for Navi. Things already off to a great start for the CIS team.
And Navi, during the player intros earlier during the opening ceremony, you can still tell this organization carries weight.
Yeah. And I think they probably won over some fans, given their like kind of steady and consistent performance throughout the year, where they've just kind of built up over and over. You heard in the interview that Seneko felt like this is a team that he finally really built from the ground up and really believed in, and would love to be able to take the Aegis with the crew like this, especially with Crystallize now taking more of a leadership role. As he said, he felt like he wasn't really playing with peers so much as people that he respected and looked up to.
This mid lane matchup, Lina versus Sniper. Moon, of course, long heralded as one of the superstars of Southeast Asia, just wasn't really able to show it that much this year, as Mineski did not do so hot. And on the flip side of things, you have Magical, who I think is a very snowbally player. Like, this guy needs a good laning phase, needs to continue from that as First Blood.
Rangy
Taken by
Potato
Mineski.
Pulls it up out on Blizzy. As they're just going for the full defensive tri-lane, and KP's just going to be playing this off-lane solo Enigma, pulling the lane back for himself. Seems like they really want to secure this classic Nico Baby Wraith King, a strong start to the game.
I think Wraith King is going to be... I don't know. I think this is a really hard Wraith King. Like, if you look at the other heroes, I feel like this Sven just kind of eats him up, and the sniper can just outrange him and sort of play from afar. He's got multiple ways to distance himself if he goes for Dragonlance, Hurricane Pike. Once he gets the BKB, the stun becomes relatively ineffective. And this is going to be a really hard game for Mineski to feel comfortable going late game in. And that's kind of wild to say considering you have an Enigma in your squad.
Yeah. And perhaps like Wraith King is like a really good hero to be able to push down towers, so maybe that's why Mineski's taking this approach. They think if they get Nico Baby ahead at the start, he gets this fast Hand of Midas, a faster Radiance, he's going to hit that really big mid-game swing where he could just mow down towers and they won't have to worry about the late game.
I think you can't play this Enigma like a neutral late game hero. I sort of feel like you have to go for a more mid-game oriented play. Play around the fact that your Wraith King will hit like this 2-item timing and just sort of go for it. Because I feel like the game, the longer it goes on, you're just asking to lose because Seneko will hit a rock on you. It's so much harder for Mineski to execute their lineup once it gets to like the 35-minute mark.
That's exactly why Febby and Gunnar did disagree with the pick so heavily, but we'll see what teamfight builds KP is able to pull out.
I mean, there's something to be said for comfort picks too, which is what people seem to be favoring so far. Like you saw Hector was like, no matter what, I'm going to play Wraith King. And, you know, fair play. It's what he's good at. It's what he's comfortable with. You're in a best-of-1 situation. You want your team to not stress. And the best way for your team not to stress, pick them what they know how to play. Who cares about the situation?
Nice roll in. If they can get the kick onto him as well. Moon's going to go for the early TP away, but it barely gets him out in time.
Still, it's going to hurt his lane a lot. Has to TP all the way back. This is going to give Magical at least a full minute of space.
Well, don't worry. Old Ninja Boogie is going to trundle along as the Ogre Magi and collect what little of the gold and experience he can while the Lina is away. But this is the matchup that Gunnar said was supposed to be relatively even, but eventually the sniper does prove to be superior just because of his range.
This Blizzy, and he just continues to get forced out of his lane. I mean, the best part about Mineski's offlane, Enigma can just always idle on the range creep, and it'll eventually pull back to him. Plus, you're just denying a lot of XP for the enemy carry. Whereas, like, up at top lane, Nico Baby should have a relatively free time considering it's a Beastmaster who's level 3. He's largely been jungling.
Magical. Playing the right-hand side because he knows about this rotation thanks to Blizzy's board that was set up on the high ground.
You know what the crazy part is? The Lina's actually ahead in CS, despite being forced out of so many of those waves.
Yeah.
Doing just fine for himself. In fact, they're identical, tied.
Is that just the nuking advantage that Alina has?
Yeah, I think it's just easier because you can always get harass going while simultaneously farming the range creep. Like, it's impossible to deny Lina range creep unless you really mess up.
Enigma doesn't have much way to contest the bounty runes, and this Beastmaster's pretty locked in, so both teams just splitting the bounties and all their supports with a heavy eye towards that mid lane. You see Zayat, who had that 71% win rate of the 7 matches that he played during the group stage. Here on the main stage, he's looking to play what he's most comfortable with, and has already had 1 successful rotation on the Lina, looking for another, but that's where Ninja Boogie comes in. It's just kind of babysitting Moon, making sure that if somebody does try and roll in, he will be there to respond.
So far, so good for Mineski as they continue to hold their kill lead. Blizzy's game continues to be really rough as KP has no problems with just jungling. And if you look at his item build cap, he's deciding to go for the flats. This was, I believe, the correct decision.
Yeah.
Play for the mid game. That's what we wanted to see out of Mineski for them to win this game. Because we do feel like, I don't want to speak for you, but I think they're a little bit outdrafted.
Yeah.
It never feels good having to go for these sorts of items or plays because you know the onus is on you to end, and I feel like playing late game is almost always easier in a best-of-1 situation,
especially at TI where the pressure is so high. If you're Mineski, you know that, especially like in Nico Baby's position or something like that, like if you throw one team fight, the game just kind of could be over because Navi are just naturally going to outscale you with this Sven and Sniper duo, even a Beastmaster being able to push you nice and late game. both teams. Oh, nice roll in from Zayats. Will be able to kick him back into the shrapnel here. Moon trying to get away. Another third round of the shrapnel, and the assassination not actually going to go out. That's because the Ogre's just running at the sniper right now. Thinks about it again, but the bottle hit will allow Moon to stay alive, and it's Zayats who dies instead.
Yeah, luckily for Magical, it wasn't the Lina that got the last hit on that, and in fact, this is going to prompt Moon to go back towards the shrine area. It's going to continue to give Magical a little bit of a free lane, but this is just helping him catch up, not even get ahead. Bottom lane.
They are going to be able to catch KP. They say this Enigma has been farming a bit too long, as he's been spending about half his time in the lane, the other half inside of the jungle. All the smoke up came in from Mineski. They smoked up about the same time that Lina went for the shrine, and Raging Potato's just running for it. But you have that ward from Magical that's going to be able to see a bit farther to that left-hand side during this nighttime. And he quickly gets out of the way of that gank. On the upside, though, Nico Baby is still top CS. And so all that defensive tri-lane space has warranted a very farm carry that's really trying to pressure this tower. And if they can actually kill Blizzy, it would be fantastic for them. But Blizzy just positioned a little bit too passive for Nico Baby to be able to threaten him past that Ray Fire Blast. And instead, it's all about the early objective.
Nico Baby has had pretty much nobody in his lane half the time.
They're going to try again here, but the TP coming out. Quickly giving it up as Seneko shows up to give Blizzy a helping hand.
KP just about to complete the Vlads. Wonder if somebody rotates in terms so they could finally start to pressure the tower in this bottom lane area.
I think that's why the Wraith King is trying so hard to take this offlane tower, right? Is that he feels like, once I do this and I build up the skeletons again, I'm going to go bottom lane, we're going to take that tower down, we're going to start pressuring the tier 2. Let's take these objectives early. But look at the stack that's going on right now. Raging Potato, 5 stacks of poison, does get a last hit on all of the weaker creeps there, but leaves the rest at half health for the Beastmaster to potentially clean up. He's still going to try and get it with more Shadow Poison. He's just going to expend his entire mana pool, if possible. And that's going to be a decent amount of farm for him. He's now level 5.
And Zayats, he's going to go mid, soak up the rest of the XP, try to catch up in levels. And Raging Potato, like you said, doing just fine for himself. He's going to farm this jungle area with Moon. He'll get his level 6 no problem, but Zayats, I mean, with nobody in this mid lane, in fact, both sides are just
He's going to go for the kill here. It actually pushes the Lina away, and from a distance, they're going to try and poke at Raging Potato and see if they can bring him down. The Shadow Word is not going to come with the damage fast enough. He will TP to the fountain to safety, and that'll be Mineski picking up a large share of bounty runes there, 3 of the 4.
And you see Raging Potato, he's already got Arcane Boots almost as the Aether Lens. His position seems just fine.
That damn tower is still alive. Blizzy, Seneko, they're just doing a really good job making sure to pull the creep wave off. Nico Baby, I'm sure, is saying this is the final hurrah with the skeletons and the second round of the catapults. They're just going to go for it.
Yeah. The only downside about pushing a tower like this, Cap, into the enemy offlane is, simply put, you're giving up free XP.
Yeah.
It's really easy nowadays. You can just Fatal Bonds and run away. And it's going to keep the tower relatively healthy, and this is going to allow Seneko... I mean, he's going to grab the tome anyways, but he would get it pretty soon after without use of it.
An interesting idea from Nico Baby, just spotting the skeletons to push that in. The catapult will get the damage on the tower, but he's going to rotate down to bottom, where he thinks Navi is going to try and show up for a fight, and he would be right, but can they actually punish them? As they get spotted, Raging Potato is going to be able to get the disruption if needed to stop the Earth Spirit roll away, but it's just not. They have too many stuns here. Mineski do manage to get that kill with the Siege Wagon still alive. They can keep going. If they want, they can try for a tier 2 here, where Navi, a little bit slower to go for because of that skeleton push. They're going to try and go and mirror.
I sort of feel like giving up this tier 2 tower, though, is a mistake. We talked about how Navi needs to keep pace. Like, even though you have the late game secured, you can't allow Mineski this sort of win condition. Like, this is the best chance for Mineski to have. which is why Magical makes his way down towards bottom. He stops his farm in the jungle to deal with this. I think this is the right idea. Don't just demonstrate that you're willing to give up towers for free. On the downside, Mineski just going to outmaneuver Navi right here.
Yeah,
I really like this maneuver. Getting this mid-tier 1 tower, guys, is even more important than taking that tier 2 tower at bottom, just for the purposes of controlling that jungle area.
And the more jungle area you control, the better it is for heroes like Wraith King and Enigma, right? Because they thrive off of open access to jungle areas through the Eidolons and the Skeletons. Mineski are not shying away from protecting their own jungle as well, but maybe that's where Navi strikes here. Ninja Boogie, he's in position here. He's going to try and kill the Hawk. A healthy bit of experience for any support that's a bit lacking, but positioning himself to be able to break the smoke and may not even die for it. And sure enough, they're a bit scared to dive this tier 2. They're going to try and go for it now, but Science really wants to go for that back line. He wants to stop Moon, but now Moon's going to turn and quickly kill him as they tried far too hard to make that action happen. Mineski were well aware of what was happening there, I think.
I think Navi right now is just sort of getting red around the map. Like anywhere they seem to go towards that top lane push, they're sort of getting corralled. Magical makes his way down towards bottom. Moon is already directing his team to come towards mid to take that tower. These are just clean, crisp maneuvers, and Navi, I mean, they're going to run into the problem where their lineup, yes, they can go into the late game just fine, but if Mineski just sort of deny them the overall like big 5-on-5 team fight, and they just sort of outplay them and outmaneuver them and get these minor pickoffs, they will eventually be able to snowball. And Nico Baby is going to hit this really nice Radiance timing where they can fight behind and they can back him up with the disruption. Like, things are not looking all that grim for them.
And Mineski has like a very solid 20-minute timer where with the Radiance and the Lina who's coming online about that point, especially with all the team fight items flowing in from the Enigma, they are actually going to be really strong in the 5-man in their own right, where Navi's lineup, all 3 of their cores, are going to need a little bit more time. Yeah, Nico Baby, he's going to be Primal Roar here. He does have reincarnation. This is very heavy commitment from Navi, so that's going to be the first life. But now Mineski is here. They're going to be able to throw out the Purge on his Giants, Soul Catcher as well. They're going to drop the gold, trying to finish off Nico Baby in his second life. He gets to the high ground, disruption now coming in from behind. Moon and Ninja Boogie, a pair to be able to follow up on the Earth Spirit. Now Magical as well, who's dead. He just tries to lay out as much damage on Lina as possible. Even the Golem coming in for a helping hand. But Mineski easily routing Navi once again.
And that was the buyback too from Zayats. I think he assumed that the fight would continue. We saw what happened in the last game. If you go on this Wraith King, he just respawns, guys.
That is what his ultimate does, yes.
This is a PSA for Navi.
Yeah.
And for Keen, because I genuinely, at this point, don't know if they know that, because that's twice now that they've tried to make that play, and they're going to get gone on. There's no ultimates on the side of Navi.
Science
got to be careful here.
Does manage to get a really good silence. Look at that ultimate. Oh, Navi, they can turn things around, especially with that Fatal Bond. They take damage over time. They've already finished up the Lina. Raging Potato's just going to die to the assassination of Magical, and Ninja Boogie gets cleaned up as well. They challenge for bounties, and this time, Mineski gets shut down rapidly.
And if Mineski, conversely, is going to make a play like that, they need to have more heroes there.
Yeah.
They still have the black hole. You at least need to threaten that. Going 3 men into the high ground with no vision seems just a little bit scary. Nice recovery from Navi. Counted them out a second too late. But still, that was such a head-scratcher of a fight they took.
Absolutely. I mean, the fact that they still had Golem, they still had all their ultimates up, and Mineski didn't have reincarnation, it's pretty obvious that Nico Baby wouldn't want to fight there. Now KP, he's going to drop the black hole, yes, and he will hold him there for a while, but a Primal Roar finishes him off. Crystallize, a multicast on him with Lina here as well. Laguna Blade cuts him down. Now he's going to be able to get the Yule Scepter LSA onto Seneko as well. Call it a 2-fer for Moon, as he managed to help get 2 of those kills. Blizzy, possibly a 3rd, but it's just hidden away in the trees here.
By the way, I think you can make that play if you took the mid tower. This is why the mid tower is so important. But Wraith King, he just got immediate support. In that situation up at top lane, though, Navi, they just overstayed their welcome. And that seems like it's sort of the story of this game so far. It's whoever overstays their welcome just sort of gets wrecked. Both teams being a little bit sloppy.
And Mineski wants to win the last fight, but the Golem is coming back up for the Warlock. They should not feel like they are that much stronger. A very even game, it seems. 5-8, 17 minutes in with a 2,000 net worth lead for Mineski, but they do have the faster lineup. And they do have that Midas plus Radiance on the Wraith King. Denied tower. Once again, the tier 2 was denied by Moon. Now it's Blizzy's turn to deny the tier 1.
And for Nico, baby, you want this game to sort of reset for yourself just a little bit at least. And he's 0-0-3. He feels like he's done a perfectly adequate job. Things seem fine. Hasn't died once this game.
First to be able to cross that 10k threshold as well from all those farming items. Probably telling his team, let's just chill until every single time reincarnation's up, we can take one fight. And then from there, the split push. But I love this. The Blink Dagger pickup from the Sven. Navi trying to enable some earlier timings for their cores because those cores are kind of greedy. Certain items like Blink Dagger can speed your lineup up. Smoke up from Navi as they start moving across the map.
I think the next timing though is BKB. Like they got a few shots at this, but once Sven gets BKB, this is when he's gonna ignore the Radiance. He's not gonna care about any of that. He's gonna get on top of the Wraith King, and he's gonna pop his first and second life so quickly. Like Wraith King does not come that equipped with armor, which is why he has to go for the AC. I think one time we saw this matchup and he didn't is...
Oh, Science! He's been
nice
very
pickup.
headstrong about who he wants to go for, just always trying to gun down Moon, but keeps on being repelled back by that Yule Scepter.
I don't even know if I can really call that a pickoff, considering he just sort of walked into his waiting arms, and now the push towards this bottom lane is finally going to come. They faked it out towards mid last time, but
this time around they will finish that commitment to the tier 2. Any more map control and Mineski, they're going to start running out of objectives to take. There's still that Roshan to go for. Oh, now they've got the Radiance, actually, the Disruption. Shadow Demon can actually farm for himself a little bit with the illusions.
yes. And he can push out this bottom lane consistently, which is exactly what he's doing, which is going to open up pressure towards the Roshan pit. And that'll make it so that Navi might miss their next timing when it comes to getting the BKB on the Sven.
How close is he? He's got a K in the bank right now. Magical Sniper, who's not done terrible for himself. He just died that one time in the river where they got wrapped around from behind by Moon. Other than that, 1-1-0. He's been farming away with his hand. Midas now has a Maelstrom and is looking towards BKB or maybe Hurricane Pike. Feels like the safety of just double BKBs. Navi could actually withstand a lot of this pressure from Mineski, but first they have to be able to get there, and Seneko, well, he'll have to see his team on the other side. It looks like they are going to have to say goodbye to Blizzy as well. Gets caught by Moon.
Two more heroes being fed away by Navi, but similar to the previous game, I mean, sometimes you have to throw away heroes for space. And the most important hero in the game is still going to be Magical, who he wants his team to buy him time. He's got a Midas, he's got a Maelstrom, clearly wants to drag this game out, extend the range of the game too for himself.
And their team fight is set up very well to protect him.
Yes.
So all the damage items he has right now, that could be full beneficial.
I mean, the best part is that he's got Warlock Rock. That's if you're a core player, Warlock Rock is the best just as a defensive fight resetter.
Yep. You got a Tinky, Core, and Sven, who with the Blink Dagger to be able to start fights for you, has the War Cry to be able to make everybody a little bit tankier for you as well. And it looks like it's just going to be another little bit of slower game. Much like our last one, where both teams are maybe not content with the farming that's happening. I think Mineski would love to be able to take some more objectives like that mid-tier 2. Maybe get themselves a Roshan, but first they have to take map control, and Navi has been rapidly throwing heroes down lanes, trying to push waves out.
Yeah. By the way, I think that was BKB fully completed for Sniper. That is a massive pickup, and I think part of the reason why he decided to go for that instead of the Hurricane Pike is because I think he understands the position his team's in, there is a decent chance that if Mineski is going to put a stamp on this game, it's in the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So get this BKB, be safe, don't be stupid. So many sniper players or players of these squishier heroes will avoid going for the BKB and they'll get the flashy item. You get the Hurricane Pipe. You know what that leads to? Getting stunned and dying in 2 seconds. You get disrupted by the Aetherland Shadow Demon, follow-up stun on the Lina, all of a sudden all your net worth, highest in the game, useless.
That's true. At the end of the day, you are also an agility hero, right? That Shadow Demon, if he gets on top of you, could be completely detrimental to your ideas of this team fight. I like the safety and security of a BKB from my cores at this point. But Mineski, they can search for their own security blanket if they want. Is this team capable of taking Roshan? They don't have great minus armor. Do they have a Solar Crest or anything out of anybody?
The one upside is that Lina takes it pretty fast. Lina always hits hard because of her passive.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as you think. It's not ideal. In the previous game, we saw that they had a TA and they had I think they had a Solar Crest. So they were able to take it so fast.
Yeah.
But Mineski, I didn't do a terrible job of taking it.
I'm a little bit concerned that Mineski just backed up to their own jungle right now.
You feel like they should still be trying to play aggressive?
You're just letting Navi control the triangle. You're letting the Sven farm out some of the safer areas that are outside of the triangle as well, pushing out mid, taking some of that farm on the right side of the mid lane as well.
I don't know, who knows? Maybe the Wraith King plus Lina can carry this. Remember we saw earlier in the year, we saw like a Wraith King go Echo Saber. That's right, that was Ajit at the summit. He was against a Sven, and he went Echo Saber after his Radiance. And then he just got 2-shot every time because he didn't have an AC.
Yeah, that can't possibly be the build.
Like, you would think that the core concept of Wraith King would counter Sven, right? Because Sven is very heavy on that burst. So you'd think that second life would matter, but if you don't buy armor items, oftentimes it doesn't. Which is why he's going to go for the AC. He saw the Summit games. He was like, that was a terrible idea.
Echo Saber after Radiance.
I do not want to replicate that. It makes no sense.
Hey, there's our first, not Solar Crest, but smaller one in the Medallion of Courage. That would definitely help them take Roshan faster. And I do really want to see them take Roshan. Just to be able to play with that kind of fearless drive that an Aegis allows you to be able to do. You have multiple avenues of initiation now. By the way, Lina, Moon has a Blink Dagger with his BKB Yules. You also have a Blink Dagger on Raging Potato with an Aether Lens. So watch out for those initiations with disruption. Again, on a hero like the Sniper.
Yeah, I could easily see the reason he went for the Blink BKB is so he can get to the back line, make life easier for himself.
Moon's trying to do just that right now. Not with a Shadow Blade, but with an Invis Rune. As the rest of his team is pushing forward towards where he's at, they're going to be able to smoke pop onto Blizzy here, quickly taking him down. And Moon knows that Magikal's somewhere around here, but Magical does manage to get the BKB off first. The rest of Navi, who are pushing forward for Bounty Runes, quickly TPing to the other side of the map. Zayed, he may just try and roll forward to get that other Bounty Rune. If he does, though, he's going to be met by Raging Potato, who does get the instant disruption. Nico Baby's here to catch him with the Ray Fire Blast as well. Earth Spirit does not get a chance to roll out of this one.
You know what's odd is that both teams are hitting their item timings, so both teams are okay with the pace of the game.
Yeah.
It's always weird when that happens, because neither side is really playing with that much urgency. I think Navi's content to just sort of let them get these individual pickoffs, and Mineski's content with just sort of getting a little bit more map control at a time. This is one of the TI best-of-one syndromes where you're just a little bit afraid to make moves.
Yeah, and is that more beneficial to Navi because we both agreed that they had better late game, or is the timings of AC and Ashiva's around the same time for this Lina and Wraith King, is that just going to completely negate Navi's farm on their big physical damage cores?
I don't know if it'll completely negate it, but
disruption, good save. Raging Potato also managed to get the Purge. They had the Yule Scepter, no stun to follow that up because they knew Crystallize was going to use BKB, but now they have to get a Golem, but a Primal Roar. Assassination, be able to finish it up. They do manage to get the Black Hole right on the edge. Roll in, he can't get to KB whatsoever, but they had no damage to be able to follow it up. Nico Baby was just a little bit too far away. A great upheaval, slowing everybody down. Magical responding to Moon, but Moon with the double damage, he can actually fight through that BKB, but Magical does manage to get to the high ground, so instead he'll turn back to help finish up Zions. Multiple buybacks from Mineski. They need to be able to get more out of this one. They do manage to get Snako. Yule's trying to defend against Crystallize. Best possible disruption there as well. Soul Catcher, Crystallize a little bit low. Oh no, and LSA actually barely clips them. They do manage to get the shot on Crystallize, but Moon is still dead. Nico Baby trying to finish off another round. And the Shadow Poison to be able to finish off Crystallize. But Nico Baby in his second life, look at him, he's just getting poked to death by Magical. Pew, pew, pew. Takes down the carry of Mineski, and now Ninja Boogie will fall as well. Mineski fighting back to try and take that fight. They said this is going to be where we break Navi, and what a big pop there from Raging Potato. That's multiple kills he's gotten off the Shadow Poison, but at the end of the day, it doesn't fix that. That was a bad fight for Mineski.
They weren't able to get on top of the sniper. That is the biggest thing. It was even a very good hole from KP. He threw it in the hopes that he was going to catch heroes on the very edge, and the way that he was positioned on the high ground made it nearly impossible for Navi to follow up. No one was going to walk through that hole to get to him.
See that again. There was so many good ways that Mineski were able to kind of crystallize here, but the fact that the Golem gets dropped and that was just enough for Crystallize to be able to close this distance, get the Primal Roar out from Blizzy as well. Once they take out that Lina, Nico Baby is just so slow to be able to get damage in because that upheaval from Snako. Moon shows up, but it's about a little bit farther forward that he overcommits trying to finish off Magical, especially since he had forced him to use that BKB, but...
Yeah, and you can see the frustration in his face. He should feel it. And the fights are always going to look like that if you can't get to Magical. It's going to be that slow peck of death. He had so much space to play with in that fight. This is exactly what Gunnar and the panel were talking about. I really liked their read on the game. They were going to say, this game goes on late. This sniper, he's just going to outrange you. Regardless of what items you get on this Lina, he's going to sit back, hit you from afar. You're going to overextend trying to get to him.
And now he can go back for that flashy item in the Hurricane Pike. A better answer to be able to get some more distance against this Wraith King and Lina. I mean, distance is just going to be the name of the game, and Navi have it in spades, both through the sniper as well as the distance and range of this Fatal Bonds plus Warlock.
It wasn't even
offering.
really an ideal fight for the Sven. He had already committed his God Strength.
Yep.
Plus, he was sort of in an awkward position. Wasted a lot of his HP too, and his BKB, just trying to kill an Ogre. But that goes to show you how good of a sniper game it is. And it also goes to show you who is right. In the game of Chicken, where both teams were willing to farm, Crystallize dodges point blank as Blizzy, trying to find the angle right now, does have the Roar, doesn't want to use it on Nico Baby. Nor does he want to use it on Ninja Boogie, so this is just going to reset things for the time being. Magical thought about walking up that hill. Let me tell you, Cap, no matter what you think about the game, no matter how far ahead you are, don't walk up hills blind. Don't do it.
Mineski, knowing that that fight was kind of spoiled by that fast reaction of Crystallize. They just send Moon, go get one of those bounty runes. He's going to try and push in the mid lane, but Magical, he's not slowing down one bit with this Aegis. He's going to quickly chop down. Look at that initiation. Because of the Hawk, they actually spotted out where Raging Potato was. Mineski did not plan very well for the vision of the Beastmaster. Now the supports are going to get caught. Ninja Boogie does have a Force Staff. Gets the low ground, but it doesn't really matter for Navi. They have waited long enough. They say now's our time to be able to wrest control of the map back from Mineski. We're going to be the ones to take objectives and even threatening going into the high ground.
Yeah, they did smoke so that they can sit behind Magical. He's got this Aegis, and he's taking this pretty quickly. And the best part about playing Sniper in a game like this, Cap, is you have so much that can frontline and initiate for you.
And if you just look at the way he's just chopping down this tier 3 between interviews.
They're gonna force
look at that, the aggressive force down. Does manage to get him up into the high ground, but there's the golem drop. It's gonna be Ninja Boogie down first. Nico Baby in the back line. They do have the black hole. It's quickly canceled by the assassination, and that's 3 dead of Mineski with no buyback. That's why they were so loath to take a fight. But when it finally comes to them from Navi, Mineski quickly gift wiped, and that could just be it without buybacks.
And this was our concern and the panel's concern. If you throw out the hole like that and it doesn't completely change the course of the fight, your hero's gonna feel way too slow.
Oh, look at that.
They know there's no buyback.
Yep.
Nobody bought back, and there's no hole even if they had it. They've got Aegis, they've got the Solar Crescent Sniper, Navi, they've got everything up. They're daring Mineski to do something about it.
Mineski, though, only need a few more seconds to be able to get there.
You gotta fight now.
Overextend themselves on the throne. We'll have to see as they make the initiation on Blizzy. Trying to finish him off, not quite enough. So now they have to deal with a sniper who's trying to hit that throne right now. It is going to be Blizzy down from the Laguna Blade. They're going to be able to catch the sniper as well. It's forced to use his VKB. That's the Aegis. He won't have the magic immunity in his second life. This is trouble for Navi. They're going to have to leave Magical behind. They took the tier 4s down. But did they just throw away so much of the game? They just gave away a wicked 6 streak to Nico Baby.
It depends on what you can do with it right now for Mineski. There's no bounty runes to go for, which is unfortunate for them, but there is a mid tower for them to go for. You have to claim some real estate back on the map. It's still only a 3k gold lead for Navi, but you can see how impossible the fights feel when Navi aren't just diving their base to try to end the game.
What is Zions got 8 more seconds for his TP. So they'll probably just have to give up this tier 2 for sure.
Yes.
But Navi, at what point do you commit the buyback to defend this high ground?
You probably don't. You really don't want to in this position.
You just say, okay, if they take it, if they have the power to take it, just call it 1 lane of barracks, that's good.
And they're going to fight 4-on-5, and since Mineski used buybacks for that defense, they don't want to overextend, but Nico Baby's taking this so quickly. We're seeing the power of the Solar Crest here, and they might just trade racks.
The upheaval is about to fade away, so if Mineski want to, they can start retreating as soon as they finish up this melee barracks.
I can't believe they just traded racks like that. Mineski, and they just sort of went for it, and Navi weren't prepared to fight.
Navi really don't want to let Mineski be able to get away for free, especially with a sniper up in 2 seconds time, but Mineski, a clean escape.
And the gold lead has been just cut almost completely. Even with the Aegis, if the sniper's in that bad of a position, if you overextend to try to end the base like that, you're going to get caught out. They are going to get on top of you. What's really helped so far is his team's able to frontline and get so far ahead of him that he can just kind of choose his fight. But there wasn't a lot of open ground for his team to cover. It was either where they were or the fountain.
10 minutes ago, Mineski were up by almost 7,500 net worth. Just a minute or 2 ago, it was Navi up by 5k, and now we find ourselves in a dead even game. In this best of 1, the last series of the night, both teams feeling the pressure of TI building up. And some of the cracks have begun to show.
Yeah, and Navi gonna do the smart thing. Try to reset the game for themselves, take the shrine, but Mineski is just doing the exact same thing. And they have taken full advantage of the fact that Navi did go for that ill-advised fight, trying to end the game right there. They could have been happy with just taking the racks, but felt like they sensed blood,
the buybacks. Weakness. They may not have it on Nico Baby, but the rest of the team could be getting their buybacks soon. They do have BKB, an Aghanim Scepter for the Lina.
That's such a big pickup on her. This is your sniper killer at this point.
Yeah. I mean, when he's only sitting at 1,800 HP, having a nuke like that, half his HP just through the pure damage of the Laguna Blade, will certainly do a lot for Moon if he can get there. Rage of Potato actually has his own. Look at him. He's got the level 20 talent, and he's building towards that Aghanim Scepter. He could buy it right now. But I think he's waiting till he has enough to be able to hold on to buyback as well. That'll be pretty scary, especially if he can manage to get up to level 25 in the next 4 minutes, which is what we're waiting on for Mineski, I believe, as Nico Baby doesn't have that buyback. We also have Roshan, who could be spawning quite soon, and that's why we're going to see a smoke from Mineski. See if they can find their opening, find their window.
They want to continue to play aggressively on the map, continue to take for more. They know this game is now evened up completely. Racks for racks.
Navi gave you a second chance in this game, a second opportunity to be able to make it through this just crucible of the best of ones in this playoffs and move on to the next round. But how are you going to take advantage of that opportunity? How are you going to be? Are you going to sit back and farm and wait till you have your buybacks, play it safe in that regard? Or are you going to try and challenge this Roshan that Navi is very clearly setting up for and just spawned?
Looks like they're content to chill for the time being, but I mean, they've got to get back to this Roshan pit cap. The benefit of Navi actually losing their mid-racks here is that they can just kind of defend the area.
Look how quickly it goes down with the Inner Beast and this minus armor and all this physical damage. Mineski, they're moving over nice and fast, but the Hawk has already spotted him.
They have to respond to this in... Nope, out of time.
It's not going to be fast enough, and now, if anything, Mineski could get caught, and that's exactly what Science is planning on. He blinks forward, Soul Catcher on him, almost finishing him off, and he does manage to get a force staff down into the low ground, disappears with a Glimmer Cape, and the shots from the Eidolons will not finish him off. So, Navi do manage to get that Aegis and Cheese for free. Mineski do not get caught, though, in their awkward positioning, but they're also not slowing down. They're thinking they may catch Navi by surprise.
Yeah, maybe they think Navi will split up to farm a little bit, see what they can get, but they've got to be so careful because they're all-encompassing T-fight ability.
Oh, they found the moon! They managed to get the assassination, given enough vision for Blizzy to be able to get the Primal Roar, and this is very likely going to be buybacks forced out. They already used the God Strength from Crystalline, so he wants to use all that damage to try and take down the tier 2 if they don't find anybody else. And Mineski immediately go for trying to split push the map. They're gonna have to come back soon at this rate. Oh man, it's catching another one. Science rolling in. Trying to catch Raging Potato, that would be a massive kill, but now he's been caught with Soul Catcher on him. Looks like Nico Baby should be able to quickly bring down Zayats, and again, he has overextended himself.
Yeah, and this is just going to be a 1-for-1 with the tower. Secure the shrine, Navi. This is the right move for them to take. There's no other tower that they should be pushing with Moon in a position to come for the buyback.
Especially with the level 25 coming in for Crystallize, as well as an Assault Cuirass. That is a massive upgrade.
Yeah, plus he doesn't have his ulti. It's fine.
Just chill out. It's the onus entirely on Mineski.
Yeah, and
to be able to find a way out of this game.
I still think this is a very hard game for them, but it does feel like they're making very good decisions. They're being aggressive on the map. They're trying to take fights even when the enemy's going for an Aegis because they know that they're sort of on a timer. Like, they're still playing with that sense of urgency.
Yeah.
I just sort of feel like it might have been a little bit too greedy with some of their picks.
Yeah.
They still can do it, though. I mean, the best part about this Enigma is all it takes is one.
That is true. Speaking of that one, KP, Mech, Blink Dagger, Midas, Solar Crest, Vlad's, and is going to be working towards a refresher. That may just be what Mineski needs to be able to turn this game around. Let the Black Hole get canceled, the first one, by the Chaotic Offering, and surprise them with a second one.
It's the Roar on top of that, though. That's the problem.
That's true.
And they've got long-range silences. I think Sniper, what talent did he go for on 20? He decided to go for the Assassinate cast time. I love that talent. When you need quick cancels, he's almost never going to get caught by the hole, just based on pure positioning. So being able to cancel it himself on top of that is so important. And KP also isn't going to go for a BKB or anything like that, it looks like. So they've got multiple ways to cancel the cap from range, from distance, with no commitment, without having to expend the rock at this point.
I tell you, Blitz, it has been a long opening day as we are closing in at midnight here in Shanghai, and I can't imagine how the players are feeling right now. 41 minutes in a best of one, elimination on the line. You've worked so hard to be able to get here. Navi, they've worked all year long to be able to get here, while Mineski, have had plenty of shakeups. Nico Baby charging up into the high ground. One of the few heroes that can ignore the high ground rule and just face tank. But Navi, they chose not to take that fight around the Wraith King. They're instead going to push into the top lane. Let Magical start laying down that damage onto the tier 3.
And this is what led them to getting Rex in the first place at bottom.
Got the disruption, but now Raging Potato in some trouble. He do manage to get the Force Staff away, slowing down the Sven, but they're going to use the Primal Roar as well. He does have buyback, and with this heavy commitment coming out from Navi, they need to be able to get outside of the base, back to safety, but Nico Baby just won't let him. He's going to stay on top of Crystallize now. The BKB is already used, and Magical's at half health as well. He's going to go for Seneko, but that will summon a fresh golem. Mineski need to be careful with this one. There's the golem with the Fatal Bonds as well. Nico Baby tied up to Moon. Doesn't care though. Keeps on marching forward. Does manage to get the stun. A follow-up stun as well onto Magical, but Moon has been forced away. A blink back now from Nico Baby, but Science sees that opportunity to be able to slow down the heroes. He's managed to finish up the Enigma as well. The roll in from Science. Managed to nail the Wraith King, but dodge another stun with the disruption. Moon, now he's the one who seeks weakness as he blinks forward, but Science has already rolled a little bit too far away for the Gold Scepter. Same goes for Raging Potato, who does manage to get the Purge, but there is a roll away from Science. As they see the buyback from KP, Navi is on full retreat, and Mineski is on the hunt, but they can't seem to find anybody. Not yet anyway. 4 seconds for a blink up for Nico Baby. He's got a blind blink in over and over and over again, but Navi are just too damn fast. They will not be caught by Nico Baby. They will just give up their shrine and say, that's fine with us. Force another buyback.
All right, so 2 things about that fight. One was the initiation into the base, all inning for the SD.
Yes.
Not really sure what that was all about.
Yeah, I was like, do they know he doesn't have buyback or something? That was a curious one. And then I saw he died, and he did have buyback.
I mean, it is important for him to die. He's got the Aghanim Scepter, reset on the disruption, but not so much for diving behind that base, using your cheese, because part of what happens is you force your sniper out of position going for this play.
Yeah.
Secondly, it was KP. He was in the trees at the top area, and then he just got caught out and died.
Yep.
Maybe if he has Black Hole, or if he's able to catch the backline, he can get some sort of hole for his team, but just got caught out before he was in any position to do so.
I was very surprised that Nico Baby gave up on that chase and turned towards Seneko. When he had Magical, he could just keep running at Magical in that place, and Magical wouldn't be able to turn around like he did later.
And you can see KP hiding in that top area.
Ends up getting caught. Just, you know, this is his signature Enigma, but hasn't had the impact that we've seen in the past.
Yes, not at all, but I mean, it is a very hard Enigma game. When you're staring down a rock plus roar plus the assassinate.
But at the same time, you chose to pick that hero into these. There's no way that KP said no to this hero and they picked it anyway. He had confidence he would be able to pull something, some sort of rabbit out of the hat against these hard counters.
There's so many hard counters, Cap. Everybody comes equipped with a stun or a way to cancel it on the side of Navi. It's not even like they have an all melee lineup either.
Oh, Zayas. It's going to be stunned up.
Certainly died.
Just to make sure, and an instant buyback coming out. Navi, they really want to take this fight right now. It seems like it with a buyback coming out from Zayas. They think there's something wrong with Mineski's position, that they can win the engagement, but Mineski, they played it pretty cautious.
Yeah, just for a second it looked like Mineski had stepped forward a little bit too far as they take back the gold lead. I mean, they've been in a pretty even position this game, despite what we talked about being such large issues for them.
And they've actually got some sick upgrades coming their way. If they can get the level 25 for Raging Potato, I mean, this is not what I expected, was Raging Potato carrying this game.
Yeah, he's got the 30 XP talent. 30% XP considering how farmed he is quite a lot.
Yeah.
And on top of that, you can tell, by the way, he needs some sort of defensive item with how hard Navi goes in on him. I mean, they popped the Sven BKB, they wasted their Aegis timing just to be able to try to kill him once. Knowing full well there was a very good possibility that he had the buyback. And if you take a look at Magical's build, he's largely topped out. I don't know if you replace any of those items. Maybe you can keep slotting in and out treads.
Yeah.
But aside from that, he sort of hit his point.
Yeah, looks like he wants to keep his shreds. He's got to go for the Moon Shard instead. Poison after poison. Zayat sitting up is actually going to be able to get the push in. 2-man stun because of that, but the Abyssal Blade out onto with the Soul Catcher as well. That's a lot of damage, but will they have enough to be able to finish him off? They will. That is good enough.
They need to get out now.
On his second life is going to be able to look for more. Science is going to be caught with the Gold Scepter. Sniper's actually fighting this one. That's crazy talk. Magical setting in the trees, but that's because Blizzy is going to be able to lock down Nico, baby. Nico, baby. They need to be able to save him here with the Solar Crest. He's getting away. Magical one last shot. Stepping forward. This is crazy. He wants this kill so badly. He's willing to put his body on the line to get it, but it doesn't happen. Mineski reset, and Nico Baby will have his reincarnation up again for the next fight.
And these are some wild fights that Navi are taking, or opting to take.
Yeah.
The buyback from Crystallize, I'm not sure what that was about, considering Roshan wasn't quite up yet. That felt like a snap judgment call. Zayat doesn't have buyback in this position either, just simply out of gold. He's had to use it twice previously. And now it might be Mineski's turn to grab this Aegis. And the Wraith King is plenty strong. He's got an AC.
Aegis, Cheese, Refresher Shard. I'm sure KP would love to have a third black hole to throw in the mix. 47 minutes in, I did not expect to see that Mineski, especially after they almost got throned by Navi. Throne went down to half health before they were finally able to repel Navi and get several kills. I did not expect to see them taking over the late game like they are with this lineup.
I don't think anybody did. I definitely did.
Yeah. I mean, Navi certainly didn't expect that, but...
Yeah, what a wild back and forth game. For a second, I thought the game was 100% over. Then they wasted their Aegis timing cap, going for that dive at top.
Yeah.
They wasted everything on that. Sure, they got the kill on 2 heroes and they forced a support SD buyback, but missing the timing on the Aegis I felt like was more key. Then they take the fight in that position right there, trying to go for it. Sort of resets things. And the good news for Navi is that they can just continue to hold high ground around Magical.
Oh, yeah. I mean, how do you approach high ground if you're Mineski against Sniper Warlock?
But the downside is it felt like they were able to fight for so long and now they just can't.
Yeah.
And Mineski is... I mean, Raging Potato is so annoying to them. I mean, this guy's positioning in team fights makes it so that Navi has to pretty much dive his base to get to him. That means he's doing something right. Also, just the sheer amount of farm that he's got. He now has an Aeon Disc.
Yeah, that means he can just dive in and get the disruption on this Sniper. He's got the charges of disruption as well. And that Aeon Disc will allow him to live long enough to be able to get another disruption and maybe a third one. And that could spell doom for this Sniper, who's top net worth right now, but is about to be eclipsed by Nico Baby, who has the better map control with Wraith King.
Yeah, what a crazy position we're in considering what happened 15 minutes ago with that mad dash towards the throne. So long ago it feels like. It's Ninja Boogie dropping the gem so you can check the board on the high ground. If it's there, he'd be incorrect. But with the gem, they have so much map control. There's an E-Blade, by the way, completed by the Ogre. So another way to prevent the Sniper from hitting and another way to get on top of him and deal some extra damage.
Okay, I like it. I can dig it. It's a lot of burst damage potentially as well. Mineski, I'm sure they're feeling it right now. They have that Aegis Cheese and Refresher Shard. There's no buyback on the Earth Spirit or the Sven.
I mean, they have so many things going for them at this point. Sven is going to go for the Nullifier. Same problems arise.
But what are they waiting for? What is the last key to be able to go high ground? Or can they not go high ground and they just have to wait for a mistake?
I'm not entirely sure. Because every time I think one thing, the other happens.
Yeah.
Every time I think that Navi has this like firm grasp on the game, Mineski grabs it back. And then the opposite happens. The pendulum swings the other way. Not really sure where it's going to end up now, but Mineski's going to make damn sure this time it's going to be a lot harder for Navi to get anything out of it, as they're going to increase their gold lead during this time period. They're at 14k now. That's the largest lead that we've seen. But, I mean, win probability-wise,
still very even.
They really like Sniper.
Yeah.
So do I. What a coincidence.
Sniper with Beastmaster, Solar Crest, a Sven to be able to tank on the front line, scaling, like the only hero that really doesn't scale that well is your Spirit. And that's saying something, because your Spirit's still great late game. Mineski do manage to at least take out that tier 2 in top lane with this time, so they can actually go for Megas once they do decide to go for the high ground, but first they have to address this bottom lane. With their throne exposed, they cannot afford any silly positioning errors. They cannot allow Navi a quick trip inside their base.
Yes, that is the scary part for them. If they lose a fight, one core hero doesn't have buyback, Throne is always an option for them, even if they get Mega creeps. Having tier 4s alive against that mad dash against Megas is so important.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to make decisions around that. It's like, oh, we can wait it out to the last second. Once they overcommit trying to take our tier 4 towers, we can go for buyback. There are plays to be made around that.
Yeah, how many teams have you seen that have like tried to formulate a throne defense and underestimated how fast the damage was going to come in once the tier 4s died and the damage started hitting throne?
I mean, that's what happened in the, funny enough, coincidentally, the Navi versus Infamous series.
Yep.
Game number 2 where they just didn't think about it fast enough, and all of a sudden Navi they sort of won. It took like 2 seconds, but they did it.
Navi, is this the time to push out? They still have a minute and a half on the Sven's buyback, but maybe that's exactly why they can go smoke out, see if they can catch Mineski by surprise.
I mean, the worst hero that they would run into is the hero that they are currently running into. But Ninja Boogie gonna evade this as well. Connect to the rest of his team. Be smart.
They're going to push out that bottom lane, knowing that that kind of threat will keep Mineski away from the Navi base.
Yeah, you got to keep him honest. You got to go for some sort of maneuvers once in a while.
Yeah.
If you make no sorts of plays like this, all that happens is you get hemmed inside your base, and you march slowly towards that death.
Yeah. 14K becomes 18K like it already has. And next thing you know, especially with late game Dota right now, oh, Navi. What are they doing here? Are they trying to do some sort of slick play?
I have no idea. I mean, they're around here.
I mean, they went for the hot cooldown. So
They're hoping that Moon
all
comes
about
back.
the vision right now.
Yeah, they're hoping that Moon comes back. Tries to deal with this wave.
Yeah, and he's here.
Can they make the jump?
They're going to be able to get the Primal Roar, see if they can burst him down real quick, and they've got him. Navi planned that one out for like the last minute and a half, but Blizzy, oh, the Black Hole is going to catch him right on the edge of that TP. That's the gem on the deck, and immediately KP goes for the refresher inside of Navi. He wants them to know he's got that team fight winning ability up again.
You're not going for it.
Nope.
He says by the time this refresher's back up, this is a new sort of sand timer.
Moonshard for Magical. Looks like he wants to go back for Scotty. Is also thinking about maybe a Blink Dagger would help him against all these Blink Daggers of Mineski. Trying to counterplay that idea. Shadow Blade for the Enigma.
It's a cute concept, but I'm not sure if it does too much.
Yeah. You could just as easily take one bit of damage, your Blink Dagger's disabled, and then you've just built up a slot, a very valuable slot, instead of one of these big late game items.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gem pickup too. For the brief moment in which they killed Moon and they cut the lead by 2K, they instantly lost it by losing their Beastmaster and the gem.
Yep. Speaking of which, since we're going to late game, right? Mineski controlling all this field, it's, you know, Navi may have these heroes that go late game better than you, but all bets are off when you start getting to your level 25s, when you start getting enough farm that people are picking up their 7th, 8th items in Aghanim Scepters and Moon Shards that they consume. I mean, who knows? Wraith King Aghanim Scepter, I could see that being a real game winner here, and Nico Baby almost has it with buyback.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much that changes in these engagements. I mean, their same issues always existed, is getting to the backline and finding the sniper. Once they can do that, maybe it does require 2 lives of the Ogre an extra life with the Shadow team and to be able to do so.
Yeah.
Who knows? And their lineup is scaling a lot better than I expected, by the way.
Yeah, they
I
are.
definitely misread how well they could get to this point. Like once it got to like 56 minutes,
yeah,
I thought the sniper would just sort of reign supreme here.
I'm sure a 20K net worth doesn't hurt, but yeah, I agree with you. I did not expect Mineski to be able to be so strong into this late game.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
Both teams have something really scary in mind, though, which is we already talked about how Navi can end the game super fast. If you get to level 25 on Enigma, with all those Eidolons, like Mineski could just tear down buildings super fast. We're going to try and get a fight around the Roshan. They are able to get this Purge initiation with a 4x multicast. This poor Sven just got taken out by a Luna Blade. And now Moon, he refreshes up. He's got a fresh BKB, a fresh Laguna Blade, and it's got somebody on Navi's name on it.
They're going to reset, go in for this other Roshan. I mean, Wraith King, did he already complete the axe? Yes, he has. Unfortunately for him, I mean, his team was going to take it. This will be the blessing.
Who's getting the blessing? Is it Ninja Boogie? It is. They're going to give him that free extra Fire Blast, the unrefired Fire Blast for some extra power. And KP. Okay. Popped his refresher. I don't think he needed to do that.
No, I don't think so either, but he did.
Well, at least Ninja Boogie found it funny.
Yeah, and that's going to be, you know, it's been rare that I've actually seen the refresher shard have a cooldown. You don't see that too often. I'm going to go for it right now.
Oh, Zayats with the Aghanim Scepter is going to kick Ninja Boogie into the tier 4s.
He's okay.
Force Stats with the Ethereal Blade is actually going to allow him to be able to get away. The Disruption being used down to be able to buy the Wraith King time, but Magical, very safe in the backside, is able to poke at Nico Baby, trying to bring him low enough that they can take away that reincarnation for free, and then they can make the real commitment. But Mineski looking to be able to force the buybacks out of Crystallize. They've got 30 seconds. And the Glyph is now down. Raging Potato found his initiation. He's going to go for the Sniper with the Soul Catcher as well. The Aeon just allowing him to be able to live through this. A Laguna Blade. That's who had the name on it. It was Magical. But where's the buybacks coming out from Navi? Now they have the Chaotic Offering on the ground to be able to slow down some of these heroes. They go for the buybacks, but still, Crystallize holds onto his. And look at Zayats right now. He is burrowing deeper into the tree, seeing if he can get a positioning for another pickoff like he tried earlier on Ninja Boogie.
Mineski still really healthy. Looks like they want to continue to go for it. But in fact, they're going to back out, reset for at least half a beat.
They want to make sure that there is no opportunity. Mineski being very disciplined here, saying Navi, they're getting desperate right now. They're using buybacks. They are on the precipice. They are on the brink of losing this game. Don't give them the opening by letting them TP, mass TP to bottom lane and go for throne. Push that out with the Eidolons. Make sure we have our early detection system up and running.
And they are choking them out on the map. I mean, what a turnaround from what this game looked like half an hour ago.
Once again, they're going to be able to force out the BKB on Blizzy. Blizzy trying to stay alive is going to be saved by the Earth Spirit. Zayat pulls him back, and that is just enough. Oh! The last flame from Moon gets another one, another buyback out of Navi.
Top lane, Nico Baby, he's daring them. He's saying, I've got 2 lives. Do something about this.
Crystallize, he's the only one with 2 lives on the side of Navi. Where's he going to make his jump? Rage of Potato, he'll always find the jump first. He's going to be able to get Disruption on the Sniper once again. He is going to be saved, though.
Look at him just run from the
shot comes out from the assassination. They're going to give up Megas here. Is Mineski going to go all the way for the throne? They jump to the back line. They do manage to get Seneko. Seneko with the Chaotic Offering. He's dead. He doesn't get off the goals. Now the tier 4s are falling, and Navi are going to have to take the 4 versus 5 with no buybacks.
Look at this. They're going for the base.
They roll in. It looks like Mineski, they're actually just trying to go for the throne as quick as possible. Mineski is there to be able to respond. The throne is dying. Navi, Crystallize, he can't hold it in time. The Raid Fire Blast will stop it. And it looks like Mineski, they've got it in the bag. They'll finish up the throne while simultaneously defending their own. That's it. Mineski take it just as we pass over an hour
they hold strong, they hold discipline, and they finish off Navi.
And you could see KP with that look of disbelief. I mean, half an hour into that game, the morale must have been so low. But for them to be able to recover and look at this too, Navi, the end of the season, they're gathering around. I really like that they just did that. It shows how far they've come. I think this squad, they understand that they're still a young squad. Just the organization to put all this faith. They made it back to TI.
This is your next generation of CIS players, and unfortunately, we will have to say goodbye to them now. It's Mineski. Take them out, but hopefully we will see more of them next year. Mineski, meanwhile, we will see more of them here at this international.
And who knows how far they could go. That was a very good game by them.
Yeah.
In the moments that they needed to be disciplined and close out the game, they were. Moon, at one point, was like, I'm done with this game. I am going to win it. I'm going to find every pickoff you guys need. I'm going to be the damage dealer. I'll do it all. Raging Potato was like, I'm right there with you, buddy.
After going all the way through in a tough qualifiers, barely able to make it through 3-2. They get knocked into the lower bracket, barely make it through the groups. Into the lower bracket they go, barely make it through the best of ones. How far can they barely go through this lower bracket? We'll have to see. It was Shiver and the rest of the boys.
Thank you very much, Cap and Blitz. How far can Mineski take this? Because that game, it looked, especially the end, not the beginning as much, but the end looked very, very solid. Of course, still here with Kyle BSJ and Odie Pixel. Oh, and I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit, because in the green room, you mentioned late game Warlock. You cannot lose with this hero.
I really thought you couldn't, and it looked great. For all sense and purpose, you were seeing this Navi lineup. They have all the right ingredients. They got this Warlock, and then you've got your two cores on arguably the most signature heroes: the magical sniper, the crystallized Sven. Sven. Yes, Sven.
Yeah, Sven.
Sorry. We've been here very long today. But exactly, crystallized Sven, magical sniper. These are like their best heroes. Maybe magical TA, but you're happy, right? And they're pushing bottom. They're taking racks. They're taking tier 4s. They're onto the edge now. Like, it's in the bag. We ran downstairs. We're like, okay, game over. They were able to hold Mineski. And then from that point on, that was really the turning point, the breaking point, it felt, for Navi. Is they just could never get back. There were so many fights where they were this close to killing Nico Baby on the Wraith King. And you can see the patience and the hesitance from Crystallize. He didn't know when to commit. He was trying to kill this Wraith King. He didn't want to pop God Strength from BKB for the first time because he knew he'd need it for the second time. They don't quite kill him. I mean, it was an incredible comeback from my perspective from Mineski. And it was another bracket prediction in the lower bracket that I got entirely wrong, which is fantastic. This is why I love TI. Because you really don't know what to expect, especially in these best of ones. And for me, that was at least a third upset in the lower bracket.
Anything to add to that?
I don't know what to do. He was wrong. He talked for far too long, analyzed the game flawlessly. He effectively did my job, Alan's job, and Brian. Like,
I'm sitting here smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to talk about the end of the game that a little bit, because we talk about inexperience, right? Because there are 4 people without any TI experience. So Crystallize, perhaps pressure getting to him a little bit there, because should he have Bob back when that bottom racks got pushed in? That's the question. That's the question that a lot of people at home are also going to ask themselves, because he waited so long, and then it has to force the sniper to buy back early, but he still holds on, and they can't really...
Oh, that very last defense?
Second to last defense.
I can understand why he was saving it, because it was when they were losing the racks, he had like, what, 20 seconds left on his before he was back in the game?
Yeah, something like that. 30. I think 30 when they started.
I don't think you can blame him there.
I wasn't about to blame. Yeah. I wasn't about to blame. I was just curious.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I think that was the right call.
I think there's like a tipping point in the game where buybacks become more important than the racks. And as a player, that's really hard to judge when exactly that point is. And with those types of choices, it's such a small difference one way or the other in terms of how the game plays out. If you buy back, suddenly you have to play really scared for the next 7 to 8 minutes. So what are they going to be able to accomplish during that time, as opposed to what you lose by giving up the racks? And that's just so many factors to consider in such an intense game.
Yeah.
That you don't even know for sure. You could say maybe you should have bought back, but then you'd have to replay that next 7 to 8 minutes and see what happens.
It's handy if you then are playing a hero that only has 2 buttons.
Yeah.
Like the Wraith King. for Nico Baby. And Nico Baby is with Casey right now.
That's right. And boy, you did it.
Yeah, we did it.
I feel like I was just talking to you before group stage about the possibility of playing on TI main stage. How did it feel compared to what your expectations were?
Pretty good, actually. So far, amazing. But I think Navi just fucked up, to be honest.
Really?
In the last fight, yeah. I think that's not the last fight, the throne. They decided to go for the throne. The moment they went for the throne, I knew we were going to win this game. I was just so sure the whole time.
But isn't that what Dota's all about, is either seeing a mistake and knowing when to capitalize on it, and then also knowing how to adjust when you make a mistake yourself?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with this completely. But this time we didn't make this one crucial mistake, so we won.
And they played a good game.
Yeah, they played a good game for sure. Props to them. They gave us a hard time.
Yeah.
So, but we still won.
Is it difficult to play? Not only are you having to face a best of one, you're having to play at the very end of the day, and it ends up being a long day that doesn't start until 11 o'clock, and then the game itself goes long. How do you keep up your energy for that?
I mean, I slept the whole afternoon, to be honest. So that's how I kept my energy.
And then you were able to stay positive and be open when you were in the pods there.
Yeah, and we were pretty close to getting upper bracket, one game away.
Very close. So that helped the confidence. How do you feel moving forward?
Well,
Confidence?
Pretty confident, yeah. I feel very confident in all the guys in the team, and I know that we're going to put up a good fight for the next series.
You hated watching TI from the sidelines last year. You said it was really, really hard not to feel negative about it.
Now I'm enjoying every single moment.
Yeah. Good job. I'm happy for you.
Thanks.
Congratulations. We'll send it back to you.
Love to see it. Thank you, Casey. Thank you, Nico Baby. And yeah, last year watching from the sidelines, here they are. They're killing it, Kyle.
Yeah, I should be happy. And it's cool because it's almost a throwback to their qualifier win, right? You got to figure, just like Genesper's win for Throne in that game 4, now all of a sudden Navi is, Mineski turn it. That's got to give them so much confidence. Like, guys, we've been here before. We've been with our backs against the wall, elimination faced.
Yeah.
Deja vu.
There's, of course, another side to this story, and that is the side of Navi. And we have Blizzy with Rich right now.
Shiver, that is right. And obviously, when you talk about Navi, it's going to be an organization that has a lot of history, not only in Dota, but at TI. But it's been a few years since the org was able to actually play here at TI. And we get to talk to somebody who managed to get the team this far to actually play up on the main stage. And when you look at everything that your current roster has been able to do for Navi, I mean, do you look back and say, even with this performance at TI, that you're pretty proud?
Actually, I didn't understand your question.
Yeah, I talk way too fast. Are you proud of what you guys were able to accomplish for Navi?
Actually, I'm so proud. We play for the Navi. It's a big organization with a good history, and it's proud for me to play with Navi and with my team. I'm proud to get here. It's so sad, of course, that we lost. But we get what we deserve, I think. They played better, they deserve to win. So.
Okay, and I do want to ask if there's any kind of additional pressure when you are playing for a big organization and you know the fan base that comes and cheers you on even before they necessarily know you as well as they know the team at times. Like, you're going to have Navi fans. Is that something that is an additional pressure?
First, half year, we had some pressure. But after this, actually, no, I don't feel anything. I just play the game, no pressure.
Now, with everything that, when you look back and you actually do get to see everything that you did accomplish and you look at what you do with your team, is there anything that you do want to say to all of those fans that have supported you?
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. That supporting it's really good. It's a really good feeling when people saying Navi, and good. Actually, just thanks everyone. We really appreciate it. Yeah.
And thank you for all the hard work that you put in, and congratulations on making it this far. We're going to jump back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Rich and Blizzy. It is always tough to look back at a year and consider yourself, proud for what you accomplished, because you just lost, and losing sucks. But he did a really good job, and I don't think we've seen the last of him.
Oh, definitely not. He's been a superstar this entire season. You could really see his progress. It's just so bittersweet, because they really going back all the way to the first minor in Sweden where they lost 3-2, you know, heartbreaking, but they stuck it out. And it's just a shame that, you know, this whole year just ends in disappointment because they're really like that close, right? Maybe a buyback, maybe they don't go for Throne.